Hey, good morning. It is 7:50 a.m. It is April 5th. April 5th? Yeah, April 5th. It's Sunday morning. And I wanted to come on here and make a video because, I had a discussion with my son today. And, I feel as though this network is extremely abusive to my son. Okay. So my son was trying to tell me, he kind of mumbled, oh, yeah. I said, well, then I talked about this issue relating to the rent. I said, well, the landlord was giving us crap. And, I said, I want to know what happened. I said, you can't tell me what happened. And I started pressing him. And he kind of mumbles like, yeah, it's my fault. It's my fault. And I'm like, no, it's not. Okay. The message I'm getting is that he's been hiding and covering for other people who are dishonest. And he should never have that pressure being put on him. The message I'm getting right now is something, this relates to Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, this could have been initially done through Terry Collins, my son's biological grandmother. It also could have been done through originally Bruce Collins or whatever the reason or how these people latched on. And I know in my past life readings, Jehovah's Witnesses were all up in my business, okay? And then I'll also mention to my son because, I got the suspicion because these people do not understand, number one, hierarchy in families. And they also don't respect the fact that my son is my family and these people overstep their boundaries. They were trying to attribute my work to my son. Now, I love my son very much, okay? And, anything that would be profitable, I would definitely share, but I am front and center when it comes to my work. And see, they were trying to cause division over in my family. Why? Because my son was supposed to take, accomplishments or credit for my work without me knowing? How dare you think that that's okay? And why is that? Because he's half white? That's unacceptable. The message I'm getting right now that this is the blame of all of Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah's Witnesses have lost completely. Everyone is turning against them. So the reason my son was silent about it is because, he had his ex-boss involved. And then the fact that his ex-boss was involved as well as the landlord was involved, that way Juana could not get away with her lie. The message I'm getting right now that this has a lot to do with Bakersfield employers. Okay. I'm disgusted by what you did. The message I'm getting right now is people acknowledge that I deserve to have the world handed to me on a silver platter for all the inconveniences that I've dealt with through this church system, not just in this life, but in C.B. Braganza's life. I want to thank the Kern County Social Services Department for servicing me. I am very grateful. It looks like, I just got a notification in the mail about, me picking up a bus pass. I will have to go there sometime this week. I thought that they loaded my card to cover that. But whatever, I really don't like popping in there, but I will if I have to. Anyway, the message I'm also getting is that, I was being bullied because of my looks and the fact that, I'm somebody who's well-dressed and I apparently didn't fit the stereotype that maybe Juana and other people wanted me to have. And, it is what it is. But one thing is for sure, I have the right to live the way that I want to live. And I resent people trying to obstruct my life. And then also trying to create division in my home, right? By trying to lie to my son, tell my son to keep secrets, and then trying to attribute my work to my son. And I'm going to tell you why this is. The message I'm getting right now is something about me being weird. Like I said, we're talking about the supernatural. Okay, so obviously that is going to be a little different and offbeat, but you had no right to try to overstep me with my son. That causes division within a household. You know what I mean? Because you're making my son lie to me. You're making my son be dishonest. You're making my son basically try to stab me in the back for my work. Okay, and see, that was inappropriate. And then you convinced him to lie and protect you. The message I'm getting right now is that everybody knows, everybody keeps pointing at Jehovah's Witnesses. And Jehovah's Witnesses, why would they appoint my son over my work when he himself is not a Jehovah's Witness? I would say race has a lot to do with it. The message I'm getting right now is people recognize that I am mystical and I am very good at my work. I'm an originator. Okay, and I'm not being selfish by any means, but I am tired of people. One thing that I would say I find very offensive and painful in my life is the fact that people have tried to, have taken credit for things that C.B. Braganza created. As a matter of fact, the churches, are responsible for stealing a lot of things from C.B. Braganza. Okay. And then, they try to use racism in my own household against my son and try to put my son over me. I think this is a very important thing to say. Okay. No one has any legal right to be over me. They may have even told my son that he has authorization over me. That is incorrect. Okay. So people like Juana and my son's boss, I don't know if my son's ex-boss is living or not. You did something that was very inappropriate. The message I'm getting right now is that all churches recognize me as the Savior, and people are fans of my father. People know something about people look at me as lovable. Like, I don't know what that means. Like, like maybe I don't know, like a squeeze toy or something. I don't know what that means. Any other message I'm getting right now is something about law enforcement, and everyone in town knows to respect me. Okay. I understand that this was a huge plot, and these people involved my son, and then they told my son to be quiet about it. And my son has no reason to be protective of Jehovah's Witnesses. He has no reason to do that. You had no right, congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, to sit here and do this sort of thing. Okay, to try to cause family division in my home by choosing and selecting my son to appropriate my work to my son. I'm going to tell you how wrong that is. And then without my knowledge, that's unacceptable. You were trying to do this because of racial reasons. It's unacceptable. Okay. I work hard for my stuff. And see, even though these are my creations, I don't sit here and say, oh, I'm attributing this to the black race or score one. See, I'm telling you, white people are obsessed with this sort of stuff. I remember when I was working at a convalescent hospital many years ago, right? And that really wasn't a great job, obviously, right? But I remember, I'm assuming that this woman may have known me from when I was CB Berganza. She was like really excited about me always being with her. She wanted me to be with her, because her family's going to come to visit and bring a cake and have like a little party for her. And she really, really, really wanted me to be there. And she kept saying, you're a credit to your race. Maybe that might be the case, but that is not what I deliberately try to do. I literally have to make a living for myself. Okay, it is as simple as that. Okay, and then when people sit here and try to make political issues and then try to destroy the relationship between me and my son in order to do this, you are selfish and it's unacceptable. The message I'm getting right now is something about law enforcement, and everyone in town knows to respect me. Something about having a bright future, and I have a lot to be thankful for. See, you made my son feel bad. Okay, you put my son in a position that he should have never been in. The message I'm getting right now is that everything in Volume 3, second quarter newsletter is true, and there's a lot of guilt. A lot of guilt. Okay? And like I said, but this community was, along with Juana, as well as my son's ex-boss, was willing to have me evicted, right, to keep your secret. I don't forgive that. Okay, the message that I'm getting right now is that the churches recognize me as a savior. Something about me making a fresh start. Yes, I am somebody who, people look at me as somebody who's very creative, and they look at me as somebody who, I'm a girly girl. Yes, I am a girly girl. And I think that maybe people like Juana, and she, a lot of people, Juana, my Lisa Gordon, my adoptive sister, a lot of overweight women like to bully up on women who care about their looks. Okay, but the fact is that, I remember when I was growing up in school, like in health class and stuff like that, this was something that was taught to people. You were supposed to care about your appearance. As a matter of fact, I was looking at some old McGraw-Hill educational videos from the 1950s. I think this one was produced by McGraw-Hill. And it was actually a lesson on how to teach women to be pretty. Now, back then, it was acceptable. So a lot of times, I think women get very unhappy with their lives, and they want to lash out and bully other people because they care about their life. There's certain things you're supposed to take care of in your life: your body, your mind, and your spirit. And yes, I believe they should be balanced. That's me. That's my choice, okay? You had no right to sit here and try to control my body. You also have no right to sit here and control what I wear, how I live, how I appear. I am very upset with what these people did, and Juana was willing to try to kill me over it. The message I'm getting right now is something about me being recognized as the savior, and that I proved my point and resolved these issues. My son is safe, and he is divinely protected. And like I said, you do not ever sit here and misappropriate my work. The message I'm getting right now is people want to be friends with me. Why would I want to be friends with people who disrespect me and my race? I'm going to ask you that. That's why I said it. There's a difference between, friends and acquaintances. Okay. And like what people did, the action that you took, that is not my friend. You are not my friend. And you are not my friend when you cause division in my home. You are not my friend when you respect my son over me just because he's half white. The message I'm getting right now is law enforcement and everyone in town knows to respect me. Thank you. Okay. I want to see improvement in law enforcement. Okay. I wrote down this on my to-do list. I am definitely still, it's on my to-do list to correct and create a better emergency response system. Yes, and I know people think I'm a weirdo, but I'm a genius. And geniuses are weird. They're different than other people. My brain is always looking for solutions. I'm always going to be a creative person. I'm creative. Okay, and analytical. That is a very rare, to a lot of people, the standardized testing, that is a rare thing to have. Okay, and then I had a community that wanted to decide what I was, even though I was analytical. I'm tired of people thinking it's okay to define who I am and then want to call themselves my friend. You are not my friend when you tell me how to live my life. The message I'm getting right now is that people look at me as somebody who obviously has commerce in my blood. Yeah, I do. I said I'm a businesswoman. Okay, I'm an occupational engineer. Okay, and I take my work seriously. You know what I mean? And yes, my son is, very good at what he does. I'm sure my son has a lot of great managerial skills and stuff like that. But while you were trying to undermine me, you disrespected me and tried to prevent me from having a career. Yes, I am the originator of these things. Okay, and I'm tired of people trying to attribute something about enjoy more weirdness about me and my fathers and law enforcement. New order initiatives beat Christianity hands down. Yes, because that is what should rule society. Law should rule society, not religion. Okay, this is why it's the only way it makes sense. If the United States was not set up to cater to one particular religion, obviously the establishment of laws is what we're supposed to adhere to, not religion. Now, like I said, for religious people, they have to adhere to the laws of the land as well as adhere and respect their religion. Just like in the Bible where it talks about give Caesar what you get, what you owe Caesar. That expression, like if you owe taxes, you pay your taxes because it's a part of law or some sort of requirement that you're supposed to be. You're supposed to feel the obligations of whatever is required of you, even if you don't like it, right? This is the way it shows your good citizenship. You know what I mean? But, when it comes to religion, I mean, I'm beyond upset. I'm angry that people try to enforce something. I don't like Jehovah's Witnesses. I believe that Jehovah's Witnesses, that's a religion that has caused many people to be mentally ill. And you had to be mentally ill to come to my door yesterday or come to my neighborhood. The message, yes, I'm somebody who cares very much about my appearance. It's important. Okay, the message I'm getting right now is that I proved how unchristian Christians really are. Absolutely. See, I don't think I'm beautiful. I don't. I mean, I'm very well aware. I have teeth that are very damaged. I have on the sides, I have teeth that were actually baby teeth that never really formulated and grew. And that's how I recognized that Rhonda Ross that's a confirmation that I realized she's my sister. Well, my biological sister, because she has similar teeth, the way that they're shaped, right? So I understand I have flaws. I'm not somebody who has the kind of beauty and, the dainty feminine features like people like Halle Berry. I always use her as an example because she's very beautiful. But no, I mean, I like decorating myself with clothes. I'm somebody who enjoys an artistic flair, and those things are important to me. That is a signature of mine. And I don't like other people thinking it's okay to stomp me out just because they're jealous or they're competitive or their religion or maybe their husbands tell them that they can't live their life that way. Like I said, do not try to drag me into your pit of hell. The message I'm getting right now is that my son is protected. Right now, people are talking about me being the prototype of Jesus and that people enjoyed the second quarter newsletter. People, pretty much it's spread everywhere. I'm very grateful for it. Something about cursed and damned to anyone who even thinks funny, don't mess with King Solomon. So people understand, yes, if you have plots against me, I'm eventually going to find out. Okay, why? Because I am dealing with stagnation. I am dealing with issues relating to the landlord that I know that she directly collaborated with my son's boss and well as her. Something about me being the high priestess and me understanding things. Something about second quarter newsletter. Everybody knows what I'm telling is the truth. Everybody knows what I'm saying is the truth. I'm tired of people setting me up, obstructing my work, or trying to misappropriate my work, or trying to do this, that, and the other thing. I'm sick of it. Okay, I'm not going to ever be a billionaire. I'm never going to be a billionaire. Okay, and actually, I'm not really interested in being in the billionaire club. I've always looked at myself as a regular person, but I also understand that I want employers to look at me with somebody who has value. I want to be somebody who's always constantly working. If I wasn't dealing with obstruction from people like the Jehovah's Witnesses and other groups, I would have been doing that. I would have been paying into my retirement. You had no right to stand in my way. The message I'm getting right now is something about me being somebody. I care a lot about beauty. Absolutely. Beauty to me is important. To me, it's one of the most important things in my life. The message I'm getting right now is there's a lot of guilt of the Jehovah's Witnesses, and something about my good name is cleared by the person or organization. You have no right to claim any authorization of me. I want you to understand that. To the Jehovah's Witnesses, I want my son to understand that. Apparently, Jehovah's Witnesses thought that that was appropriate. No, it is not. And number one, why would you let my son in on a little plan with like I said, why would Jehovah's Witnesses let my son in on their little plans? Okay, my son is not a Jehovah's Witness. So what was their motivation? It was race. Now you leave me the hell alone. The message I'm getting right now is something about me being the Savior. If I'm the Savior, that does not mean that I need somebody to rule over me. I know when to come home. I come and go as I please. Okay, so whatever little thing that you think you have going, you better knock the shit off. The message I'm getting right now is law enforcement and everyone in town knows to respect me. Good. Good. Okay, I'm tired of my son feeling like he can't tell me or talk to me about certain things. I'm tired of my son feeling guilty about stuff that he shouldn't feel guilty about. Something about, time to advertise, go. Update social media. Something about me updating social media. And banish what does not serve me. I really do think that I need to banish. So my thing is, like last night, I was in meditation. I want to banish my memories of people like Juana. Okay, I want to banish my memories of my son dealing with abusive bosses. Okay, because I would tell you, if he was a good boss, he wouldn't have done this. Okay, I know that these people went to great lengths to try to block me out on social media. Like, for example, telling people not to say my name, but refer to me as the chosen one. Okay, and I'm not sitting here trying to act like, well, you give all the credit to me. But see, what I'm saying is, to me, that's just an aspect of the covert nature of the program, and it's not appropriate. Okay, it's not appropriate for people to act or telling people to act and behave a certain way around me or do anything that relates to some sort of social experiment. That is like, obviously, you will never be my friend. I understand that there was a lot of things that went on with the church, telling people to do certain things to me. And to me, you do it, we're done. Like I said, if I have an appointment with you, you skip the appointment. I don't know if you're just incompetent or you're just sitting here trying to try me. And you know what? I don't need to deal with that sort of trauma, so I will drop you. Okay, I can't take any chances with people playing with my stuff. Okay, obviously you stay the hell out of me and my son's relationships. You do not involve yourself with what me and my son do. Okay, and then another message I'm getting about something about an angel, my father's apparition. Jehovah's Witnesses have lost completely. Everyone is turning against them, and that there's a lot of guilt because everybody knows that they had no right to treat me this way. If I had an apparition that was showing or appearing up, what was the responsible thing to do would be to tell me. Nobody tells me anything. Okay? The message I'm getting right now is that I'm glad that Kern County is supporting me. I appreciate it. I'm getting the message that a lot of people are supporting me. Okay, and see, your support only matters if you understand where I'm coming from. Okay, I have been dealt a serious injustice. Okay, like I said, I don't think it's okay for people to do what they did. Jehovah's Witnesses are not a part of my life. And they are not welcome in my home or around my home. They can come around my home because, like I said, the neighbors here, they have every right to entertain people that they want to if Jehovah's Witnesses visit them next door. But see, sometimes I think that's deliberate. And I do believe they came deliberately yesterday. Something about me being weird. Okay, I'm not ashamed to be weird. I'm not ashamed to be who I am. I am who I am. Okay, I'm not, and like I said, my weirdness is enjoyed in the privacy of my own home. So you have no right to sit here and talk about it. You have no right to talk about it. Okay? So let me see what else is going on in the community. Something about people agree that I should banish things that don't serve me. Also, people do recognize that Gordon's occupational engineering is the best. Now, let's just say, for example, my son is not directly a part of my business. Okay? But, like, let's just say, for example, because really, Gordon's occupational engineering is really just me. Okay? And I put out videos, educational videos, to let employers know, number one, this is my work ethic, and I do also talk about my experience of being a victim of human trafficking. And being a victim of human trafficking, I've been placed in very toxic work environments that relate to all kinds of harassment, racial, sexual, whatever, just unprofessional people or bad managers who think it's okay to accommodate stalkers or whatever. Okay, people who can't uphold confidentiality, and people who working for employers that put your life in jeopardy. Why? Because they participate in things like gang stalking, just like my son's boss and all these other people. Okay, and all this relates to Jehovah's Witnesses, letting religion, their personal religions, dictate how your career goes. See, I only went, like, for example, working for Rex Laverne. Okay, I worked for Rex Laverne, and Rex Laverne was basically treating me as an employee, right? That he felt he needed to discipline me. He needed to refer to me as an office clerk. He needed to, and this has something to do with Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, see, I don't know what religion Rex was. I believe he went to a different church. He may have been like an offshoot of Mormonism or something. And I thought one time in his financial records, I saw him making a donation to a church. It didn't sound like it was Mormon. It could have been an offshoot. Okay, Jehovah's Witnesses had no right to use me in this manner. Okay, to tell people and dictate how I'm supposed to live, what I'm supposed to do. They had no right. The message I'm getting right now is there's a lot of guilt, because everybody knows what is written in that. See, everything in my newsletters is 100% true. Okay, I see no point in sitting here, telling and sharing my story if it's not true. And that all of that stuff is true. That's exactly what happened to me. You know what I mean? And I've been dealing with these people being very possessive over me, and they had no right to. And the reason why is because, number one, they know that I'm King Solomon, and they also know that I'm a business-oriented person, and they basically had something to do with my inheritance that my grandmother left me, that you stole from me, and you will not take from me again. Stay the hell away from me, Jehovah's Witnesses. And you could very well be a victim of Jehovah's Witnesses. See, I used to wonder when I was a teenager, because when I was a teenager, Jehovah's Witnesses used to charge for the watchtower in the wake. They used to, ask for like a donation or whatever. And I kept thinking, it's impossible. How in the world are they making it? How are they paying the rent? And they very well could be taking people's assets and their things and using this as a form of their way of gaining wealth. And the message I'm getting right now is that people think that I'm the prototype of Jesus. Let me understand. I'm going to explain to you who Jesus really is. Okay? No, Jesus is not somebody that you're supposed to take advantage of, or you defining what your idea of Jesus is supposed to be. Like, for example, Jesus is a savior, so all he cares about is spiritual things. Jesus, unfortunately, has to live here on the earth, okay? And I need to take care of myself, okay? And no, I don't believe that Jesus was somebody who just sat here and let people take advantage of him, okay? I'm beyond pissed off with it. It is unjustifiable. And yes, while I'm here in an earthly body, I have to live like a human. That means I'm old. I need to be able to take care of myself, like have things like retirement and everything else. Okay, and you took my family fortune. You had no right to do that. And something about me being, everybody knows that the accounts of 1974 to 2000 is correct, yes. So no, I want nothing to do with Jehovah's Witnesses. So you stay the hell away from my son. Now, that's the message I'm getting right now is banish what does not serve me. I don't think I should update social media. See, I need to get my word out there if I decide to get back to work, okay? And obviously, general relief and all these other things are temporary fixes. I have to work. I didn't yet need Jehovah's Witnesses stagnating me for 12 consecutive years when I had nothing to do with them. I have no affiliations with Jehovah's Witnesses whatsoever. Okay, now this issue that's going on with Juana, I don't know what the issue is, but I'm tired of dealing with people and their little plots. Something about many people agree with my standards of friendship. Exactly. If you can't adhere to then respectfully call yourself my acquaintance. And then also, if you're my acquaintance, we simply just know each other. Let's be respectful. You stay out of my way, don't make trouble for me, and I don't make trouble for you. But if you're somebody who cannot sit here and support me, if I tell you a secret and you sit there and you open your mouth, if I sit here and I hear people trash talking me or trying to, do things behind my back, like telling my son stuff and leaving me out of it to try to create friction in our household. Okay, you're going to try to make it so that I can't trust my own son. Okay, you kind of try to cause this kind of division in my home. Guess what? We're not friends. Yes, I have standards, and I think people should make standards. People talk about people getting stabbed in the back all the time and they act surprised. Well, maybe you should have set those standards in the beginning. Because obviously you have to. You cannot assume that it's common knowledge that people are going to respect your space, even though it should be. Okay, like there's certain lessons that people should have learned in school, like don't touch things that don't belong to you. Okay, and that means stealing. But people like Jehovah's Witnesses, how in the world did they convince themselves that this was okay? It's not okay. And they start thinking, oh, it's because I'm weird. Okay, well, if I was weird to the point of where I was mentally ill, then I would need some sort of psychiatric help. So why, instead of getting me psychiatric help, which probably wouldn't work anyway, you decide to steal from me. I don't want to hear Jehovah's Witnesses excuses. I'm going to tell you what, you have nothing but the demons inside of you. You are not of God's people. You stay the hell away from me, period. Okay, the other message I'm getting right now is that world leaders, the Illuminati, and the citizens around the globe must respect me. And I want to say thank you to everybody who has respected me and who has supported me. Okay, I do not want my son feeling guilty or pressured or depressed or anything. And I'm so sorry that he ever came in contact with you. You had no right to sit here and plan that sort of stuff at all. Okay, I am not a Jehovah's Witness. Do not associate me with you. Do not attribute my work to you. I am beyond pissed off. Okay, everything that I do for myself. Gordon's occupational engineering is for my future. Okay, like I said, now I choose to work as a 1099 person. Now, let's just say, for example, somebody wanted me to work like maybe a year or bring me on as an employee. That's their choice. They have the right to do this. The message I'm getting right now is that Jehovah's Witnesses were trying to prevent me from having solid employment. I have every right to work any way I want to. My son's basically thinking about me at this moment. And my son is thinking about how Jehovah's Witnesses are crooked. And my son feels bad because he was in communication with these people. People recognize or look at me as somebody who is a role model. Also, the message I'm getting right now, I am the prototype of Jesus. So let me tell you, Jesus had secular employment. Jesus was known as a carpenter. Okay, that means that he worked. Okay, he did have a job. He worked, okay, according to the Bible. Now, like I said, well, I'm the prototype of Jesus, but according to the Bible, he did work, okay? And no, I'm not somebody, it's not okay to steal from me, okay? And then call me generous. No, I find that very offensive because you're basically taking from me and it's abuse. It's abuse, okay? Plain and simple. No, I am not that generous. I am not generous to turn, if I had an inheritance that was supposed to be given to me, and chances are it could have been a fortune that I had wrapped up. I don't know. Whatever that was, okay? I would never sign my stuff over, especially to Jehovah's Witnesses. Especially to Jehovah's Witnesses. I would not lift one finger for those people. Okay, I am somebody who is all for their organization falling apart. Okay, the message I'm getting right now is my good name is cleared by the person or organization that was orchestrating this. Good, now stay out of my life. Don't ever think that you have the right to sit here and dictate what I do. You don't. Okay, I'm beyond pissed off. Okay, I want to see how my son's doing. I'm always concerned about my son because, number one, I notice he sleeps a lot. Okay, I don't like the fact that he sleeps a lot because he used to have filled of energy. Jehovah's Witnesses has caused nothing but problems in our life. Okay, I want my son to go back to being happy and active. And I know myself, these people have literally destroyed my what do you call it? My energy to wake up in the morning, and because they cause problems. They cause problems. Trying to get me thrown out of my house, all this other stuff. Something about me and my son are the new royal family. Okay, so what? So I'm not trying to disrespect. I'm very respectful of my family line. I'm very respectful of my bloodline. I'm very appreciative of that, okay? But I will define what royal is. I will define my royalty, and my royalty has nothing to do with Jehovah's Witnesses. You go straight to hell. Oh, that's right. You don't believe in hell, because really hell is here. I really do believe that hell is here, and I do believe that Jehovah's Witnesses, with their ignorance, are some of the demonic forces or the carriers of demonic forces. Anyway, the message I'm also getting right now is Gordon's occupational engineering projections are a demonstration of my expertise. Yes, it is, as well as my professional work ethic. So I don't cause drama. I go to work and I literally work. Okay. I don't want people to ever accuse me of this, that, and everything, or anything, or not dropping the ball. I don't drop the ball. I don't drop the ball. Okay. So basically, Jehovah's Witnesses wanted to dictate something that they were jealous of. And I'm tired of it. Stay the hell away from me. Okay. What else is going on? My son. Yeah, I recognize myself, the royal family thing, and that's wonderful. But like I said, I'm tired of people thinking that, oh, maybe they think, well, if I'm royal, I'm supposed to be a certain way, or if I'm supposed to be the prototype of Jesus. You might think that Jesus was one way, but this is basically people projecting what their vision of Jesus is. Okay, Jesus right now, or the prototype of Jesus, is a black woman. If you can accept it, you can. If not, whatever. I'm moving on, okay? But I'm living my life. And I resent people trying to tell me how to live my life. One thing that you never want to do is tell me how to live my life, okay? Because the minute you do, we're done. Okay, the message I'm getting right now is something about the presence of an angel is in the room. Jehovah's Witnesses lost completely. Everyone's turning against them. People from my past remember me and know what happened to me and my father was wrong. We didn't deserve it. No, we didn't. We didn't deserve any of it. You know what I mean? And see the insensitivity of these people. And see, Jehovah's Witnesses, to me, the reason why I'm going to deem them as evil is because these people were well aware of what they did. And they were trying to hide it. Okay? This includes people like Juana and my son's boss. Okay? You knew you were willing to throw us out on the street, right? You were willing to throw us out on the street. And something about us being the Savior. No, just because we are the Savior does not mean that you can get away with attempted murder. Because just how the people were persecuting Jesus and tried to kill him, those people who killed Jesus were not in favor of God. Okay? You are mentally ill, is what you are. The message I'm getting right now is, yes, people recognize that I do not have much. I don't, okay? I have particle board. I've got plastic bins. I've got things at the dollar store that I purchased. I don't have expensive stuff. But my point is, what if I did? Was Juana trying to steal from me? Because my point is, like I said, when I was younger, I used to keep thinking, okay, so you sell Watchtower Awake magazines. How does that keep the organization going? I think the Jehovah's Witnesses steal from people. That's what I think that they do. You know what I mean? Anyway, the message I'm getting right now is everyone knows I deserve compensation. Okay, so anyway, some people might be delusional because I'm the prototype of Jesus. That perhaps maybe she thought that she wanted to kill me, like crucify me, like sacrifice me. Okay, that is the most warped thing that I can ever imagine. No, and I would be of absolutely no benefit to anybody. I wouldn't. In that state, why would I be bothered with you? You honestly think that I would be of service to you once I cross over? No, I will not. Especially knowing how, because at this point, I really have been evaluating how the world is, okay? The world is garbage. The world is absolute garbage, okay? And it's been going on for a long time. I have had several incarnations. I have tried to benefit and uplift mankind several times. I'm trying to benefit mankind while I'm here on earth, okay? You have no idea of who Jesus really is. The message I'm getting right now is something about enjoy more weirdness, something about my latest newsletter proves that Christianity is fake. America will now shift into the new world order. Also, yeah, it should. Okay, and it really, when you think about it, these laws were created, a long time ago. And this is how the country is supposed to run. It is supposed to be run on secular law, not religion. Okay, not religion. So this is why I'm making these videos. So I'm actually going to go ahead and upload this video. And the reason why is because I feel as though this issue of my son carrying this burden is too much. Okay. And I want to make it very clear because what you guys did was unacceptable. Okay. Jehovah's Witnesses, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I'm banishing you out of my life. I want you nothing to do with you. Okay, you are evil and wicked. What else do I want to say? Oh, yes, I'm proud of the inner child and all my creations. I'm proud of all my creations. Okay, but and I'm glad. I want to remove these barriers because I have a right to support myself, and I one day hope that my son will be able to support himself and me support ourselves, so we can have our lives as we want them. I always want my son to be a part of my life, but I also want my son to enjoy life to the fullest. You know what I mean? I want my son to enjoy life to the fullest, okay? And be people telling us how we're supposed to live, our living arrangements, forcing us into situations. That's not your place. The message I'm getting right now is that religion in the workplace is excellent. Yeah, I'm very glad that people watched that video, okay? And I do plan on making more productions in the future, So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. I'm going to title this video. What am I going to title it? Let me see. What's a good idea? A good thing about it. Yes, I don't need authorization for anything. Okay. So Jehovah's Witnesses, you have no rights over me, and I do not forgive you at all. You don't have anything to say about me. You had no right to touch any of my stuff. I am not a Jehovah's Witness. The message I'm getting right now is feel free, because that's what I am. I am innocent and deserving. Jehovah's Witnesses have lost completely. Everyone is turning against them. Also, if social media is an avenue that I need to go through, I need social media companies to unblock me. Okay, I have the right to make use of social media. I am not a part of any religious affiliation, but I am somebody who accepts other people's faiths and belief systems, especially if they're sincere. Okay. Also, the message I'm getting right now is everyone knows I deserve compensation. I do. It's long overdue. And see, why Jehovah's Witnesses are so vile in this situation is because I've been making videos for 12 consecutive years, calling people out. Not one time did they ever stand up and take any responsibility. You had no right to do what you did. And you cannot pay me the money back. You cannot. Okay, you can't. You can't pay it back. Okay, I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. I'm so angry that you even tried to affiliate with me. I don't want my name mentioned with Jehovah's Witnesses in the same sentence. That's how much I cannot stand these people. The message I'm getting right now is that people from my past remember that I didn't remember me and know that what happened to my father was wrong. Yeah, it was. You know what I mean? They were basically forcing my father into death, like, messing with him, gaslighting him, forcing him into the medical system, which these people, I'm going to tell you what, if you're a targeted individual, that's the last place you need to go. You do not need to have anything to do with the medical system because these people are in on these little arrangements. Okay, that's how they ended up injecting me in my thigh. This is why they ended up, I personally think they caused my father to have Alzheimer's. Or somehow or another, mainly it could have been high level stress that creates the neurons in the brain to kink up or whatever. But and a lot of people are going to sit here and contest this, but I think that a lot of things that might be attributed to Alzheimer's could be high levels of stress, and of course a combination of a lot of different things that they may be doing to your mind. Anyway, the other message I'm getting right now is something about people are protesting and trying to keep me in my apartment because Jehovah's Witnesses were trying to get me evicted. Also, world leaders and our citizens are supporting me. I do appreciate that. I'm going to wrap up this video, and I will be back with another video sometime later. I'm going to try to decide what I should name this. I'm just going to name it Freedom. Freedom, okay? Freedom from Jehovah's Witnesses, okay? And that's all I'm going to call it. I'm going to wrap up this video. Take care. Bye-bye.